Now, one of the things that I want to make very clear about the system, and this is probably the most important part of this video, is the gacha system in general is gambling. What is going on, guys? So today we are back with another beginner's guide video, and today is actually going to be on the wish system. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into the wish system and how you're able to obtain characters and weapons and things like that that I think every beginner from the game should know. So this probably is actually going to be the last of the beginner's guide, so to speak. We are going to move on to a few more advanced topics. I would consider them intermediate player topics kind of thing. I think if you've been following this series for as long as I've been posting it, then you for sure have become more than just a beginner at this game. But for those people who are just starting their journey and happen to find this video, I definitely want to say a few things about the wish system that I think everyone should know. So if you've never seen me before, you may be asking yourself, well, who is this guy? Why should I even listen to him? My name is Atticus, and I've actually been playing this game since launch. I technically played the closed beta test just right before the game launched. Not very much though, so I would consider myself just like a day one player, and I've amassed an adventure rank 42, which is actually decently high. It's not the highest in the world or anything, but it's a pretty good rank. If you have no idea why that's significant, I do have a few videos out on the channel, other beginners guides that are going to go over adventure rank and stuff like that. So I would just say that adventure rank 42 is very respectable. It means that I have put quite a bit of time into this account, and I do know a thing or two. Let's just keep it at that. So whenever we talk about the wish system, one of the most important things that I think we need to go over is kind of how gacha works in general. So technically, gacha is there's a whole like backstory on how gacha became a thing. It's like a Chinese, like, you know how like, I don't know, in the western side of the world we have those like little coin operated machines where you like toss like a quarter or maybe like 2 quarters in and you turn the thing and it drops out like a tiny little toy. We have them in the US, we have them in a lot of grocery stores and convenience stores and stuff like that. In Japan there are gacha machines that work the same, and it's based off of like you put in a currency and you get a random prize out. You never know exactly what you're going to get, but in that machine there may be one really valuable thing, not necessarily monetarily valuable, but valuable in the sense of it's rare, so to speak. That is basically how gacha systems are set up. It is a virtual representation of the physical system that they have in Japan. Now in Genshin Impact specifically, I'm going to try to keep my analogies as close to that coin-operated machine as I can. If we're talking about those coin-operated machines, I would say that banners, which you can see that we have 3 of right now, these banners, I would say, are all 3 different machines. And you can kind of look at these 3 banners as different categories in the game, but being that they're 3 different machines that we can put our quarters into, you can kind of see up here on the top left that they categorize them just a tiny bit differently. So this banner is considered the standard wish, this banner is considered the weapon event wish, and this one is the character event wish. Now that's going to be important in just a little bit, so keep that in mind. Basically though, we have our 3 different banners, and these banners are all going to take some quarters. Interestingly though, this banner in particular takes a different type of quarter than these 2. So let's kind of transition into the currencies that are able to be used. There are basically 2 main currencies that you're going to be able to use as quarters for this system. So this is going to be an Acquaint Fate, which an Acquaint Fate is it's kind of like the standard item that you would use to perform a wish. You can get these throughout the game through boosting your adventure rank, by completing battle pass levels, stuff like that. All kinds of random ways that you can get these, and you can just use them on this specific banner. Now in the future, there may be banners, depending on when you're watching this, there may be other banners that allow you to use Acquaint Fates as well, but currently this is the only banner that will allow you to use it. So when you use this Acquaint Fate, what are you actually going for? Well, if you click down on details, which is actually underneath my webcam, let me show you. So underneath my webcam down here, you have details. So if we click on details, it'll actually bring up a web page that allows you to read through all kinds of different things about what you're able to get and what kind of goes into the gacha system that you're kind of going up against. Now, we're not going to go over like what is important to get, like stuff like that. I will just say that typically you want to get the highest rarity, but those are the hardest to get in terms of probability. So when we talk about probability, the gacha system is pretty gnarly in this game in a bad way. So the base probability of getting a 5-star item is a 0.6%. And then on top of that, the base probability of that 5-star being a character is actually only 0.3%, which is horrible. So one of the things that you can do on the banners is you can get the character or you can get the weapon. Now, in this specific banner, there are 3, 4, 5 different characters, but there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 different weapons. Now, personally, I want characters. I'm not a huge advocate for getting weapons, but I can tell you that weapons can actually make a character way better than what they previously were, depending on what weapon you had on them. If you have been going through the game and let's say the best weapon that you have gotten is maybe like 1 or 2 4-stars, but you end up getting a 5-star weapon out of nowhere, that 5-star weapon, even at a low refinement, could be insanely good depending on what you currently have. If that kind of scares you, if you don't kind of know what I'm talking about, I did do a video specifically on weapons talking about refinements and all that good stuff. If you have questions about that, please go check that video out. Basically, I'm not a huge fan of being able to get weapons, but I know that if I get a weapon, it's still okay in the long run. It's not going to be like, oh, nice, I get to work on this character now. It'll be like, oh, well, I guess that makes this character better. But that's kind of it. So the actual rate for getting the 5-star, 0.6, 0.3 for specifically a character, 0.3 for specifically a weapon. And then there is what they call the pity system. So the pity system, actually, they say that it raises the rates to a 1.6% if you factor in the fact that at 90 summons, or this game refers to them as wishes, every time you spend a quarter, if you were to spend 90 quarters, you get a guaranteed 5-star. I actually like this system. I think that 90 is kind of high in itself, but I like the fact that they have a pity system in place. There are games that have pity systems that are ridiculously high. They cost ridiculous amounts of money. This one is pretty expensive. I mean, to actually hit the 90, I think you would have to spend 2 of the largest packs in the shop, which however much money that is in your region. For the US, it's like roughly $200, which is a lot. But I think it's not even quite 200. I think it's 200 and then some. Don't quote me on that math though. That's just quick head math. But still, that's a lot. That's a lot of money to hit this pity. But at least over time, there is a way that you can hit this number and you will get something out of it rather than nothing. Because other games that I've played, you know, the pity system just resets every so often and things like that, and it makes it really, really difficult to get stuff that could be useful at least. Now, one of the special things about this pity system is, remember how we had these different categories for the different machines, right? So this standard wish, that 90, actually carries over. If they ever change this banner, as long as it falls within that standard wish category, even if they change all of the characters and weapons on here, that standard wish will still retain that 90 number. So once you hit that 90, if you still haven't gotten a 5-star, then you will be guaranteed a 5-star. Now, what happens when you actually hit 90? Well, when you hit 90, you're going to get a 5-star, and that number resets. So you go all the way back down to 0. And then you have, 90 more summons or wishes until you hit that pity again. But if you were to get a 5-star, if you beat the pity, which is how a lot of people refer to it, If you beat the pity, meaning you get the 5-star before 90 full summons, then you end up resetting that number early, which is fine. I think if you can beat the pity, you are doing pretty well in terms of your luck. Now, there are also 4-star and 3-star items or characters that you can get in this game, and basically the probability of a 4-star is 5.1%. If you boil it down, there's a 2.55% for a weapon and a 2.55% for characters. Basically, you know, it's the same kind of spiel. The pity system for a 4-star is totally different though. You get a 4-star unit every 10 wishes, which is actually super cool because you can actually do multi-summons, which allow you to do 10 wishes at once, which means you will always get a 4-star item on that wish. Now, there isn't a really big difference in doing a multi or a single summon. If you look, you do 1 wish or you do 10 wishes. Most games will allow you to spend 10 currency for 11. They'll give you that bonus for doing, you know, the big summon, which is nice, but in this game, unfortunately, they don't do that. Maybe that will change in the future. I play another game that, you know, after the 1-year anniversary, they were like, yeah, we'll add 1 more summon to you. It's been a year. So every 10 attempts, you can actually get a extra 4-star. Now, there's something that you can kind of do to kind of, I guess, predict when you're going to get it. Take a look underneath my webcam here again. There's actually a history button. So if you go under here, you can actually look at the last time you got a 4-star. Now you can see here, this is my last 6 summons, and it's got multiple pages that you can flip through. If we look at my last few summons, I actually had a 4-star 4 summons ago. I can actually do 6 singles right now, and that 6th single is guaranteed to be a 4-star. Because I can look at my history and figure out when this actually happened, I can go back. Now, if you were to go in here and you counted these 6, none of these were 4-stars, and then you went to the second page and you saw 7, 8, 9, and you saw this was a 4-star, then you could do a single and guarantee yourself a 4-star. It's not like it's every multi gives you a 4-star. It's literally every 10th summon will give you a 4-star if you haven't received a 4-star up until that point. Again, it's considered similar to the pity system, where if you haven't gotten the 4-star at that point, it will give it to you. But you can beat the pity system in the 4-stars as well, just by being lucky. Now, what happens when you get a duplicate of something that you already have? Well, for both characters and weapons, typically it's not that bad whenever you get a duplicate. If you just completely either well out, if you decide to just spend a ton of money on this game, or if you end up getting super lucky and getting, you know, a ton of the same character over and over and over, eventually the value of getting that duplicate does drop. But there are a couple of ways the game pays you back for it. So first and foremost, if you get an extra weapon, you can just refine it. And like I said, if you need, you know, help on refining it, I did that whole video on that. But that's actually not that bad. Once you refine it to max level, you kind of just have an extra one. So weapons are kind of like even worse in some senses, but I mean, there are multiple cases where you could use an extra weapon. Like if you have Amber and you have Fischl, you can use that bow that you just got for the 10th time on both characters. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not absolutely horrible, but it's eh. Sometimes, though, you will actually end up getting duplicate characters. Now, as you can see here, basically, you're going to be able to get the character's Stella Fortuna. We'll talk about that in a quick second, but you'll also get Masterless Starglitter. You'll actually get this Starglitter up until the 7th time. From the 8th time onwards, it actually adds a ton more Starglitter. So you'll initially get 10 every time you do it, plus the Stella Fortuna. After you get that, the Stella Fortuna becomes null and void because there's nothing to use it on, and they'll actually convert it up to 25 of the Starglitter, which isn't actually that bad because there's a lot of things that you can do with the Starglitter, which we'll go over in a second. 4-star characters are basically the exact same way. Up and through the 7th time, you'll have the Stella Fortuna, and you'll get 2 Starglitter for the 4 stars. And then beyond the 8th time, you'll have 5 Starglitters. So what does all that mean? All right, if we take a look at our characters here, let's look at Zhengling because I can actually kind of show you the difference here. So if we go under constellations, if we look at all of these, so these are extra passives that your character gets whenever you have duplicates. If we take a look at someone who I don't have multiples of, so Beto, you can see that I have the character and I can use them, but I don't even have this first one unlocked. So this would be your first duplicate. This would be your second duplicate, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth duplicate. So technically 7 different pulls. After the 8th one is what they're referring to in that where you will increase the amount of Starglitter that you get. What is Starglitter? Well, if we go under our shop, you can actually see, if we look at Paimon's Bargains, this kind of includes everything. So this is Stardust and this is Starglitter. So Starglitter is the higher tier currency between the two. So Starglitter is going to be used to exchange for all kinds of different things. Now these are a little bit more rare. You get the Stardust just from summoning, really, and you'll have a ton of that if you put a ton of wishes into the system. And these are a lot more bountiful, but the Starglitters are kind of harder to come by, but they have way better rewards in turn. So you can actually just turn around and buy, you know, extra wishes if you would like, or if you save them up, they'll let you just buy characters, and these characters have rotated even since launch. They weren't these 2 characters when the game first launched, so these may be different by the time you look at this video, but currently you could buy either of these characters, and it'll actually tell you left this month means that you can only buy one of these just this month, but it'll eventually reset in 22 days and 10 hours and 59 minutes for me, and it'll be different characters. So that's cool. And then you can buy these weapons. You have all of these ascension materials, all this kind of stuff that you could really pour into if you have that currency. Then we have the Stardust. So you'll actually just get Stardust from doing summons. So I guess probably the best way to show that would just be to do one, right? Can you guys tell if this video is just a big excuse to do some wishes? So just because we have been talking about this specific banner, let's just go ahead and do a single wish. Now we already counted. We're not supposed to get a 4-star, which we didn't. That's fine. If this would have been the 10th wish, we would have. So as you can see, it automatically gives us this 15 Stardust, right? So if we go back to our shop, now if we go under our Stardust, you can see that we have 21 of these. So now I can use this to buy anything that I see here. Now, I personally prioritize certain things. You guys may do something different, but I personally prioritize doing the wishes first because it's interesting that you can do wishes and then turn around and buy more wishes just from getting duplicate 3-star weapons and stuff like that. So I personally pour them back into this. You can only buy 5 of these per month for each of these. So you can buy 5 of the special ones. You can buy 5 of the normal ones. And then after that, I personally just dump it into Mora because Mora is a huge bottleneck for me right now. But yeah, so that's pretty much like why you can have Stardust and how you can use it. Starglitter again is the higher tier one, and you get that from getting duplicates and things like that. So it's pretty nice. I don't think I've ever spent any of my Starglitter, and I've played a lot. Now I haven't done a ton of summons. I have did quite a few, but I haven't done a ton compared to other people, and I only have 6. I'm pretty sure I've never bought anything out of this. I'm pretty sure. Outside of these actual wish items, so outside of these fates, there is Primogems. And Primogems you're going to come by a lot more often than the Acquaint Fates. Primogems can actually be obtained from doing various things, from, you know, finishing a quest, opening a chest, doing your daily commissions. You can get Primogems by just playing the game in general. This is kind of the generic in-game currency that you'll use. But the way that they do this, you can't just summon on a banner. You can't just do a wish using these. You have to exchange them for the actual fate. So as you can see, I don't have any of these Acquaint Fates, right? I have 0. But I have 6,600 of these Primogems. So if I go to do a wish, it tells me, oh, you're going to need one of these fates to do a single. So you need to purchase that with 160 Primogems. So for whatever reason, they decided to make you exchange it into those. And it just kind of makes it a lot more complicated than it needs to be, honestly. Because if I were to tell you that you can't actually just straight up purchase these, it gets a little bit even more convoluted. So if you by chance find yourself wanting more Primogems and you can't, just farm out chests, or you finished all your quests or things like that, you end up getting to the point where you actually have to buy those Primogems. Well, tough luck. You can't just buy Primogems. For whatever reason, you have to actually buy Genesis crystals. And Genesis crystals are just another currency, for whatever reason, that they have worked into this game that you buy. You actually buy the Genesis crystals, and then you just turn around and you funnel those Genesis crystals into Primogems. Like, what? I don't know. It's really weird. So basically, Genesis crystals are the actual direct translation from, real world dollars into in-game currency. And then Primogems are a 1-to-1 ratio with Genesis crystals. Maybe eventually they'll have like a special deal where if you buy Genesis crystals, it's not like a 1-to-1. Maybe it's like a 2-to-1 or something like that. That would be kind of cool, where you get 2 Primogems for every Genesis crystal. Maybe that's like a plan that they do. I doubt it, but that could be cool. But one of the things that you can actually do with Genesis crystals is they do have a couple of bundles that you can buy with it. Again, for whatever reason, it's just a different kind of currency. It's kind of dumb in my opinion, but even this one, you have to buy this with real money. Why not just charge people real money for this and get rid of Genesis crystals altogether? Like, why? It makes no sense. We've already talked about these Acquaint Fates, but we haven't talked about these Intertwined Fates. So basically, the Intertwined Fates are what people call limited wishing items. The reason that they're limited is because you can use them across multiple banners, but the banners themselves will rotate. So if you get these regular Acquaint Fates, you will always be able to pour them into this standard wish. They will just be able to go into the standard wish, and you'll be able to do that for till the end of time. For the foreseeable future, rather. The Intertwined Fates, though, are a little bit different in the fact that they can only be used on these banners. Again, they are another form of currency that they have set up for whatever stupid reason, and you just have to, do that. Now, these two banners, or these two machines, rather, they do take this this Intertwined Fate rather than the regular one. So you, again, will have to exchange. They are the same exchange rate. It is 160 Primogems per wish, which is nice. Hopefully they never change that. Unless it goes down. I would be okay if it went down to like 100 instead of 160, but that's just me. So it's just another specific way that they have kind of just convoluted the system even more than it needed to be. If I actually take a look at my history on this banner, let's see. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. So Noelle was actually 9 summons ago, which means I should be able to hit this. This should be a 3-star. No. All right. So we already got our 4-star. So, nice. We got a new character. That's so cool. I got it for the video. That was our first iteration of this character, which is kind of a good thing, because if we look at this and we look at the constellations, you can see as soon as you get the character, nothing, right? But if I were to pull again and get that character, I would be able to end up getting these Stella Fortunas and, like we talked about earlier, pour them into him. Now we also actually have the Epitome Invocation banner here. Now this is a weapon event wish, and this banner is basically the same thing as these two, except there are no characters. And you might be thinking like, why would I want to do that? Well, once you actually get the characters that you want / need, you don't necessarily care if you have other characters. I mean, especially if you already have all the characters, if you can well out and get a ton of characters, if you just don't want any more characters, then you can just actually start going for these weapons. And some of the weapons that you will find in this banner are insanely good. They will make a character shine so much brighter than they ever would have. But you just have to be in the position to want to do weapon summons. I personally do not care. I would much rather have characters. I think I've summoned on this like a couple of times. Yeah, I was on stream. Somebody said do a multi on it, and I was like, all right. So personally, I don't spend a lot of resources doing anything with weapons because I feel like my chances of getting weapons is already too high in these banners. The fact that I am at a 2-to-1 ratio for weapons versus characters in this banner, and out of this banner, all of the 4-star weapons, there are tons of 4-star weapons in here as well. So I don't really want to summon on weapon banners, but eventually I may get to that point where I don't need extra characters. I don't need extra copies of these characters. I think personally for me, I'm not going to put the money into this game to be able to hit that point, but eventually I may, and I may start putting more effort into these. But for now, I like getting my characters. Now, one of the things that I want to make very clear about the system, and this is probably the most important part of this video, is the gacha system in general is gambling. In the broad scheme of things, you are gambling with your time or even real world money, right? If you pour money into this game, you will get quite a bit of resources by doing so. But the nature of the system does not guarantee you what you want every single time. Even if you want Klee, if you want this character that's featured on the banner, you can get her. And the system is in place to allow you to get her. If you were to summon 90 times and still not get her, you could summon another 90 and receive her guaranteed. Now, for me, if I go and I try to buy, I try to keep my personal spending on any of the games that I honestly play multiple gacha games. I currently play 3 games. I'm thinking about testing out a 4th game. I have like one main game that I typically play, and I only spend money on one game at a time. I used to play 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross way heavier than I played Genshin. Since I play Genshin more than any of the other games that I currently play, Genshin is the only game that I am allowing myself basically to spend money on. I will not spend money on 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross because I know that I'm not putting the same amount of time back into that game. I try to view it personally as how much time am I putting into this game on a daily basis, and is my time, have I worked hard enough in that game to pay myself back by using money? I personally hold that value extremely high for the amount of hours. I am adventure rank 42, like you saw, adventure rank 42, and I have spent a whopping $30 on this game. I can't tell you how many hours I have logged on this game. I don't think it will tell me, but I have put a lot of time into this game since launch. I mean, I've pretty much played it almost every single day since it came out. But I do not spend money if I don't feel like my time has been worth that money. I almost view it like a reverse job, which is, I don't know. It's just the way that I've always done it. But I want to let people know, like, if this is your first gacha game, please be careful, because the dopamine hit that you're going to get when you get this character is very, very nice. It is super, super cool, but it's very, very addictive. If you have issues with any kind of like gambling, or if you just have an addictive personality in general, please be careful. Please limit yourself to what you can afford, if that's even anything, because this game is kind of predatory in the sense of these rates, absolutely atrocious. Absolutely. Like they kind of con you with saying, oh, your percentage of a 5-star is 50%. Yeah, 50% after you hit the 0.6% roll. That's ridiculous. 0.6%. So I just want people to understand the way that the system works. I want people to understand that the system can be very predatory in how they market the characters to you, because you know these characters are rated up. You know, if you go under details, it looks like this character is at a 50% drop rate. I mean, if you just clicked on this once and never knew that you could scroll down, you would think, oh, well, if I summon, I'm 50% gonna get this and 50% gonna get one of these three. Holy cow. No, scroll down. That's not even close to how that works. I know it looks like that, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, but unfortunately, it is kind of predatory how they do that. So please be careful. Please be very careful with this system. It can cause a lot of problems. I have ran into problems in the past, which is why I'm so stingy with my money on these type of games now. So that is the gist of the gacha system and how wishing really works in this game. I don't want to end on a somber note. I'm super happy that we got a new character. It's kind of a bad way to say, hey, I got lucky, but I'm super happy that we got a new character. That is somebody that I can kind of look into and see if I want to build them. I mean, as you guys can see, I have tons of characters that I have, but just don't build. But I may actually have some stuff that can, you know, build this guy out. He's a sword user. Nice. So we will see. We will see how this is going to go. But yeah, that's basically it for today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks so much for watching. And if you need any help, if you have any questions, please, you could drop a comment down below. If you have further questions that you'd rather talk to me live, you can join the Twitch channel. I stream right now. I'm streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I try to, you know, communicate with you guys as much as possible. If you need help, please feel free to join the Twitch. But other than that, that should be it for today. Hopefully you guys will, you know, have some good luck in the wish system, and hopefully you can beat the pity, because that's really what it's all about, is getting luckier than the game just saying, it's okay, little buddy, take this instead. But until our next video, guys, we're going to start our intermediate guides. See you then.